There's something happening in the country, and the mainstream media just doesn't even see it. What it is it's splintering. It's splintering in a million different directions. One is this walk away movement with the Democrats, where Democrats are starting to say, I just can't do it anymore. They don't really know where to go. Some of them are just going in and following into the Republican Party. I think a vast majority, in the end, we're all going to be kind of staying away from the parties and just say, I just want truth and freedom, which would put you in place with the Constitution. And a guy who was really early on this was Dave Rubin. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Glenn, how's it going, my friend?
Good. Would you consider yourself always a constitutional or a classic liberal?
Well, I don't know about always. I mean, we've discussed my political evolution a couple times, and I definitely firmly was on the left. I was a liberal, but we know how that word has been changed around. Yeah. But I was a progressive, and I was on the Young Turks Network, which, in my estimation these days, is a pretty far left organization. And when you come from that perspective, the leftist perspective, it's really not rooted in the Constitution. It's sort of rooted in what do you kind of feel is right at any given moment. This is where Ben Shapiro's, facts don't care about your feelings really hits home. It's like most of the things that the left these days, and I say the left, and I don't mean every single person on the left, of course. And, we all get caught in the words, and your intro to this was on point, because I think people are going to flee the parties, and the paradigm that we've always had of left and right isn't really making sense anymore. It really is, you are either for liberty, you're for freedom, and you're for how you want to live without impinging and impugning on anyone else's rights, or you want the state to deal with everything. So I don't know that I thought of things through the constitutional prism way back when. I just thought, this seems right. I want to help poor people, so the government must do it, or whatever it was, or I want to help gay people, so the government must do it. And it didn't really have a backing of what the laws are. That's why your intro to this and related to the Supreme Court's decision right now is so right. It's not about whether we should have a conservative or a liberal. It's about, do we have someone that has the mental acumen basically to understand what the laws are and not write laws, but defend the laws? That's the whole purpose of three branches of government. That's why the judiciary exists, not to write laws. That's, of course, for the legislature. That's for the Senate and the Congress. So we need people that will uphold the system that we have in place, because although it is not perfect, I would argue there's no such thing as a perfect system, it's pretty damn good. And now, as we've seen the left really go bananas and embrace this democratic socialism, which, by the way, once they're in power with that, the word democratic is going to go away pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a temporary placeholder to make it palatable for now. And I fear that far more than what I fear on the right these days, because, on the right, what's interesting to me is you can see, I think, at least three distinct groups of people with different ideologies. So you've got the Trump people and the MAGA people. Okay, that's one. That's a pretty clear one. Then you've got all the never Trump conservatives, and that's a pretty strong group of people too. And then I think you have the group that probably where you and I are a little more in line, which is basically the libertarian classical liberals that aren't saying we're part of this party or anything else, but it's a rooted in limited government and your rights as an individual. That's three really distinct groups of people that are fighting it out for what the right is these days. The left, unfortunately, really has the democratic socialists, so the Bernies and the Elizabeth Warrens and Keith Ellisons, et cetera. And then there's a tiny but almost completely gone minority of what I would say are the sort of decent liberals. But I don't know where they are. I mean, where are all the blue dog Democrats? There seemingly is nobody left. I think some of them exist, but they've just been cowed into silence. But I think for the health of the system, we need those people to come back, because you need a good fight on both sides, and I wish we could see it again.